Hey, how's it going, guys? Mush back at it with another video, and as we're heading into the end of September, I want to look back at the month that was September in PC game releases and go over 10 games that I feel like you guys should absolutely have in your wish list so you can pick them up when they do go on sale. There were a lot of games that came out in September with a very little promotion, however, games I think a lot of people would be very interested in. So I always recommend you guys to utilize your wish list feature, and let's try to make this a monthly series where I look back at the month and recommend you guys some games to have on your wish list. So without further ado, let's get started, and let's start with a game that definitely fits the criteria of a game that wasn't promoted all too well, and that is Spyro the Reignited Trilogy. Spyro is one of those franchises that I am incredibly nostalgic with, and I was very excited to see the Reignited Trilogy come to PC. However, Activision decided that they didn't really need to promote it at all, and it came out on PC with very little fanfare. Now, it came out on consoles a year ago, so I understand a little bit of the luster had been taken away from the game, but it's still Spyro making its debut on PC. That was incredibly exciting, and $39.99 for the Reignited Trilogy might be a little bit expensive. It's an Activision release. I mean, the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy still goes for a hefty price, but for now, keep this one on your wish list, and it is really good. I think it's even better than the Crash Trilogy, from the standpoint that the remaster was done a lot better, and I'm just more nostalgic with Spyro, so I'm going to have that inherent bias, but nonetheless, definitely a release you should know about. Alright, moving on to that, and I might say some controversial stuff about this one. Number 2 is GreedFall. Now, GreedFall is a game that I personally played quite a bit of, and honestly, I do not think it's quite as good as what some people are saying. Do I think it's a competent enough RPG? Yes. And I do think it's Spider's best game thus far, so from that standpoint, I do think it's quite good. Some people are saying that this is the game that shows that Spiders is like in the infancy of BioWare, and I think statements like that are a little bit too hyperbolic, and they're talking about BioWare in their peak. Obviously, at this point, if you compare GreedFall to BioWare's recent outings, GreedFall is without a doubt the better game. However, where I think GreedFall falters is the fact of its budget. I mean, it's a game that visually, it's nothing all too standout, and you could tell while playing this game that this was a game that was made on a budget. There's nothing inherently wrong with that. However, the game was released at a $50 price point, $10 cheaper than your regular game, mind you. However, at a full $50, that's still a pretty high price point, and from that standpoint, it does seem like somewhat of a lower tier RPG. I still think the game is very good, and if you're a fan of RPGs, if you want to jump in and pay $50, by all means do that, but this is the kind of game that I think is really going to shine when it gets down to, say, south of $30 or $20. People are going to pick it up and enjoy it then. But at this point, that $50 price point might just be a little bit too high, but nonetheless, the game is very good. Alright, next up, I do want to give a shout to Noita, which kind of took the Steam gaming community by storm. It launched up to a top seller really quickly. It's in early access, and it's a magical action roguelite set in a world where every pixel is physically simulated. Fight, explore, melt, burn, freeze, and evaporate your way through the procedurally generated world using spells you've crafted yourself. Reception has been very strong with 1,225 Steam user reviews, 92% of those reviews being positive, and the game was released at a $17.99 budget price point, so that's always good. And the game does seem like it has a lot of depth to it, with it only being added to, given that it is still an early access title. If you don't pick it up now, one to add to your wish list. Next up, here's a game that I had been following for a little bit, and that is Mutazione. My apologies if I butchered the name, but it's a mutant soap opera where small-town gossip meets the supernatural. Join Kai as she arrives in the mysterious community of Mutazione to care for her ailing grandfather, discover scenic hangouts, magical gardens, new friends, and old secrets. This is a game that hardly anyone checked out. However, the Steam user reviews, only 21 of them are posted, mind you, are very positive, 100% positive reception, so that's really strong. Was released at $19.99, so that's kind of a high price point. This is the kind of game that I could very easily see it make an appearance in a humble monthly or a humble bundle down the line, so from that standpoint, maybe you should wait on a sale for it, but definitely add it to your wishlist. It's a rather interesting game, and visually, it looks fantastic, and definitely a story-driven title, so wanted to give that a shout. Next up, definitely want to give a mention to Session Skateboarding Sim game. We have not gotten Skate on PC, which is one of the most depressing thoughts I could ever have. Skate 2 was amazing. I love Skate 3, but we never got those titles on PC. However, Session does offer us a skateboarding experience on PC. Haven't played it myself, but the general reception has been relatively strong. Still in early access, but it's $19.99, and it notes creativity and freedom of expression. This is Session, pure raw skateboarding. Forget about hand-holding or turbo timers, just go tame that concrete. 1,118 Steam user reviews, 81% positive, which might sound kind of negative. I mean, 81% is still really good, but bear in mind that it is an early access game, and I imagine that the reception is just going to get stronger and stronger as more content and refinements are added. So for now, I think it's rather compelling. At the very least, keep it on your wish list, see how it develops, and pick it up then. $20 might be a little hefty for you guys, but nonetheless wanted to give that a shout. Alright, next up, want to give a mention to AI, the Somnium Files, which is really held back mainly by its price, $59.99. I mean, that is a high price point. It is a game by Spike Chunsoft, and I've absolutely loved their games, and I love the general story-driven experiences that games like this, games like Zero Escape, and games like Danganronpa, Phoenix Wright I can even point to, offer these visual novels that have been more captivating to a Western audience as well. This one has you play as Detective Kaname Date on the case of an elusive serial killer in a thrilling sci-fi murder mystery. Mystery is the name of the game here, and the narrative is the biggest element of the game. It's a story-driven game, light on the gameplay, but if you're looking for a quality, compelling story, you're probably going to find that here. It's just that $60 is quite hefty. If it does go on sale sometime in the near future for, say, at least south of $40, it might be a great buy then. At a full $60, it's just a little bit of a hard sell, but if you do enjoy story-driven titles, definitely one to have on your wish list. Alright, next up, I do want to give a shout to Blasphemous as well, a punishing action platformer that combines the fast-paced, skilled combat of a hack-and-slash game with deep and evocative narrative core delivered through exploration of a huge universe comprised of non-linear levels. Game was released at $25, and it employs a slick pixel art style, some brutal finishers, and it was received rather strongly. 1,328 Steam user reviews, 78% positive, 77 on Metacritic, so the overall reception, I would say, is trending upwards. And if you're into these games with an old school look, a little bit more challenging in game design, Blasphemous is going to be a title right up your alley. $25 for this one. Keep it on your wish list if nothing else for now. Alright, next up is Children of Morta. This is a game that really got my interest. Another title with a pixel graphics art style, which is an art style that's low-key being done to death a little bit in gaming these days, but nonetheless a compelling title. A story-driven action RPG about an extraordinary family of heroes lead the Bergsons with all their flaws and virtues against the forthcoming corruption. Will you be able to sacrifice everything to save the ones you care for? Game was received really strongly, 82 on Metacritic, and as far as the Steam reception goes, 1,184 Steam user reviews, 86% positive, $22, which I think is a pretty good price for a game like this. Local cooperative play is already available in the game, so two players can become the Bergsons and fight the corruption together. Online co-op is still in development and will be released in a future update for free, so that's pretty cool. Dig the art style, gameplay looks rather good, not one that I'm going to pick up at this point, but once it goes on sale, maybe south of $15, it'll be a great buy then, maybe even south of $10 given all of these games coming out. But one, given that it was done by Dead Mage, is a title I have some definite interest in, and one that you guys should keep on your wish list. Next up is a really good game based on the fact that I played this on the PlayStation 3, but now it comes remastered on PC, and that is Ninokuni Wrath of the White Witch Remastered. Now, Ninokuni 2 obviously released on PC, Ninokuni 2 Revenant Kingdom, and that game was really good. However, Ninokuni 1, in my opinion, is the better game. Just better from a storytelling standpoint, a character standpoint, even some of the locales and things like that I thought were stronger done in this game. And it is a phenomenal JRPG. The reception from those that picked it up on PC has been strong, very positive, 93% positive on 102 user reviews. Only issue is, it is $50, much like Tales of Vesperia when I recommended that. Little bit of a hard sell, even though the game has a decent amount of content for a game that is, what, a decade old at this point. $50 is just going to be a little bit of a hard sell, but it's a high quality JRPG. And if you're a fan of JRPGs, at the very least, keep it on your wish list and wait until it goes down to, say, south of $30, and it'll be a really good buy then. And lastly, I do want to give a shout to Police Stories, which is a really interesting game, a fresh take on top-down shooters with an emphasis on tactics that forces you to make split-second decisions, neutralize criminals, rescue civilians, and defuse bombs in single-player mode or co-op. And remember, shooting first is not an option. This is a game with a lot of decision-making, a unique surrender system. You'll issue commands, randomly place criminals, hostages, and evidence. So a lot of replayability in the game as well, various types of lawbreakers, complex tactical gameplay. A lot of people are going to see resemblances to a game like Hotline Miami, but tactics is a bigger emphasis in this game, and there's a huge emphasis on the co-op play as well. Looks like a rather cool game, priced pretty well at $15, but one at the very least to keep on your wish list. Maybe wait for it to appear on a Humble Bundle, because again, looking at a game like this, exactly the type of game that I would expect to round out like a Humble monthly lineup. Police Stories absolutely fits that bill. And that's going to conclude conclude this video, guys. I hope I was able to bring your attention to some of the PC games that were released in September. Obviously, I didn't mention games like The Surge 2 or Code Vein or even Borderlands 3, which is EGS exclusive for now, but those games I'm sure you guys are already well aware of. Some of these titles went a little bit under the radar, some a little bit popular than others. I mean, Noita was the top seller for a little bit. GreedFall is a pretty notable game, but for a lot of these games, the marketing wasn't top-notch. AI, the Somnium Files, I think is a very compelling game that hardly anyone is talking about. Children of Morta, same thing. Blasphemous. Session looks really cool, and Mutazione is a game that I have a lot of interest in. Unfortunately, not too many people even know about it. That's gonna conclude this video. If you guys have a request for a future video, leave that in the comment section down below, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.